Good morning everybody, once again here we are now. Today we're here to debunk a myth. You know, the myths that, oh, notoriously difficult to paint. Glass is one of them, isn't it? You know, notoriously different. Why? Because you can see through it. Oh, how can you paint something that you can see through? Well, today we're going to have a look at that. I'm going to start off by doing something really rather simple. Let me see here. I'll go over to my pile of stuff. And we're looking at something as simple as that. Can you see that? Yeah? So basically the first thing you're going to do is just paint a background like so that you can just work on it, okay? Just flat black or indigo wash. There's some little practice at doing a wash anyway, you see. And then we're going to have a little go at what to do and what not to do in the world of painting glass. Right, so without further ado, all you're going to need for this simply is a really nice simple exercise, but it's a really nice one to do because it does debunk the myth. It's probably a little brush like this sort of thing. That's a triple O, and then maybe something like, I would suggest, a 4 like that. Okay, those two brushes probably will do you. Now, first of all, can you see that? Very nice, very nice. First of all, I'm going to use this water here. It's perfectly good. It's a bit grubby, but that's fine. My little palette there, and all I'm going to use is white, but also a little bit of a little tad, I think, of either Payne's Grey or Indigo. I think will go nice from there. Just to take the brightness of the white down a little bit when I want it to be quite thick white but not a runny white. Okay, now here's the common mistake people do. I'll start off by the common mistake. Oh, paint a picture of a glass, a wine glass. Just a nice and simple picture of a wine glass. Alright, so this is probably the way not to do it if you want to get a nice picture of a wine glass. A good way to do this is to actually get a glass, fill it with wine, drink the wine, and then paint the glass. I like doing that. I once did a series of paintings where I painted not with water but with white wine, called them wine colours. Now this is what happens. I'll be moving round and round like I do, you know. People end up doing this. Now let's do it here so we can do something over there. Do it this way. Like this. Oh, very nice they go. But of course, not with such beautifully delicate penmanship as what Maestro's using, and they'll end up with something like that. Basically that. We don't really want that, do we? Not really, unless we're doing some sort of minimalist Picasso type affair. But we're going to go for a little bit more, give it a little bit more character. And now remember, as Miles Davis once said, it's not the notes you play, it's the notes you don't play. So we're going to not play some notes now. Right, here's a note that I haven't played. So what we're going to do is the same glass, but we're just going to give it a bit more substance. Like this. Don't worry, after we've done this is just you practicing messing, limbering up if you like. So there we are, I've mixed just a bit of that. That's quite watery, and you might just want to do just that. It's just a little, what's it called? And you might want to do a little this or something, like that. Then a little, you know, like that. And you can see the shape of it's coming, but I'm not doing both sides of the stem. I'm just doing where the light's caught it there. We might do this little ellipse at the top, but not get it all in. Maybe a bit there, not a bit there. That can do you. It gives you just that suggestion of a, what's it called, wine glass. What I would then do though, and these are the best, of course they always are, what I might call the money shots. This is going to dry a lot lighter than you see there, so we'll let that dry. And then I'm going to just get some neat white, like that, and just go, pa-chang, that swish. You can even just do with a few, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just a glass, a straight glass. Okay, right, that's that for now. I want you just to practice doing that sort of thing. Don't even necessarily make it in the shape of glass. Just get used to how thick you can put the paint on, how it sits differently before you get a nice bit of ding there. You know, lovely, isn't it? And then we're going to go on to the main event, which is going to be a glass, but it's going to be a lot more ornate than that. So what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is painting something like that. Do you think you can handle that? I definitely think you can. Basically, it's the old story. This is what I say to people. If you can do that, if you can do that, you can do that. Because all that is a series of those. Genius, really, isn't it? Genius, genius. It's the same with every painting. Every painting is just a series of brush strokes, isn't it? If you can do a brush stroke, you can do a painting. Okay, now here's my prepared surface, you see, here. I'm going to paint on this. We're going to replicate this bad boy here onto there. Now what I would, just before we go, anyone fancy a pint? That's good work, isn't it? We'll put that down there. That's glass again, but with bière in it. Right, so here we go. Now what I have actually done, I've actually drawn the shape of the glass out because it's quite a sort of ornate shape. And if you just try and paint it, I don't know, you're gonna, well, for one, I'm not Picasso. I'd come out with, you know, lumpy bits, it'll be all over the place. So there we go. I've just drawn just the outline, just this very outline. You can't really see it, but it just shows you, gives you a guideline. So I'm going to start off with some nice bit of fresh paint there. Don't overload your palette. Just keep it flowing. Keep a flowage. Oh, I like that, don't you? A flowage. Is there such word as a flow? I like leakage as well. Seepage is quite good, but but I don't know if there's such thing as flow. Now you can go two ways at this. You can just really just lighten the white by using water, or just bring in a bit of indigo there. So something like that. Now you've had your practice on your, what's it called, so you know your consistencies now. I'm just gonna, remember what we talked about earlier? Just down there, a little bit like that, that's nice. Maybe clean the brush, oh I do like one you can go. And then maybe do something just a little whiter. Just coming off it here like that. Just a little something like that. Oh, like that. And I'm gonna go along the top. See this bit here? Oh, well, I'll do the top first and then we'll talk about that a little bit more. Now this is going to be quite nice and keeps quite nice and don't make it very rich. You might even leave a little gap there, yeah? So just that. So all we're doing is these little bits here, just little bits and, you know, as long as you get them all within the shape of the glass, you've got pretty much a free rein, as long as you also remember it's not the notes, it's the notes you don't, isn't it? So you can see quite clearly from this, that's a little dash. This one's going to be much more of a that. I quite like that. You can see the shape of it already, even though I haven't filled it all in, as it were. I'm going to do the sort of top of the whatever's in there. It's probably a glass of white wine, isn't it? I don't know. So what's it called? Translucent. Don't know what it is. Actually, it's probably, I don't know. It's a goblet, and it's the bottom of the goblet. What you will notice is that I'm not doing any of these bright white bits yet. I'm going to save those, you know, towards the end for money shot. You know, it's what brings it. It's what gives it life. So we do the donkey work, and then we'll do the main event at the end. So here we go. Now I'm moving out of this area. I've probably done enough there. Have a look at my source work just so I've got a rough idea of what I'm doing, how I want it. And there's just got this funny little thing here that does that, which is quite a nice thing. I'm going to leave that where it's gone a bit scratchy. I'm going to leave that. It looks like I meant to do it. Somebody will come along when they see this painting and say, "Is it clever how the artist has managed to do that? It was an accident." But you never let on. It's never an accident. If someone says, "Oh, was that a happy accident?" You say, "How very dare you? I'm not familiar with the concept of accidents," you say. 1, 2, just across the middle bit here. Then I'll bring him down a bit there. That's quite nice. Not a real money shot white, but I'm gonna just get a little bit going on there. That's nice, isn't it? See how easy this all is? I'll give a little bit there, and then I'm going to go real bright one later. These ones will dim a little bit as they dry. Okay, remember that. It's always the way with this white. You put the white on, and it's not completely neat. It will diminish in intensity. So we come around here like that. That one is really nice, but I fear it may be just a little too watery. You know, my experience tells me it might sort of disappear a bit, but let's have a look. It might not. That's the beautiful thing about watercolours, it never ceases to... Look at that, it's coming, isn't it? But it's no more really than what we did here. It's just there's more of it, it's a bit more considered, because it's a much more ornate thing, but we're using the same techniques, just a bit more of it. This sort of comes across in a funny sort of way here. Bit of arbitrary, so don't try and make it look anything too fancy. Oh, that's got a bit of the old crystal. See what I mean about this bit here? It's just really dried, quite light. Now we're going to just get these bad boys down here on the goblety bit. Just 1, 2, maybe just like that, and then have a little one here, and maybe just something there, like that. So again, we're missing out this edge here, but the eye tells you it's there, doesn't it? You know it's there. It's not all around here, but because it's there, it's obviously there as well. Does that make sense? Not really. So that's nice. Then we go on to the problematic bit of the, what I always call the, what would you call this bit? What's this bit of the glass called? This is the stem. This bit here, that's the bowl. And this is the stand, I guess. That'd be the stand, won't it? So we're doing the stand. Let's have a look. Remember to get that little curve going. We're above it, so we're looking down on it. So now we've got this perspective where eye level with the top, so that's flat. Yeah, yeah. But we're above that, so we're seeing the ellipse of the stem. All right. It's just a bit of perspective stuff. There we go, and then just another one. That maybe, and then you've got your little stem there. It's a bit clumsy that one, but never mind. Now we're going to put that in there, and the thing to do now is to let that all dry, sit and dry. See how quick that all was? Right, we let that one dry. Maybe, just maybe, I think we do, and you have to whisper when you do this, maybe you just want to extend that one like that. Maybe you have a break in it, and just, so that sort of thing. That's quite nice, isn't it? And a little bit there. Nice. Alright, so now we wait for all that to dry. Clean your brush. And we come back to that in about, won't take long, about 5 minutes or so. And then we'll come back and do the money shots, yeah? Which is what's going to give it the zing. Brilliant. So now we're going to do the little money shots, the final little bits that are going to zing it all to life. But first of all, I'm just looking at this glass here. Just want to talk to you a little bit, you know, of the basics of the very basics of looking at the perspective of this thing. Like, if with this glass here, if you were to ask a child to draw it, the child would draw it safe in the knowledge that the top is a round, it's a circle. So the child would draw it like this. Yeah? Okay? The child also knows that the bottom's flat, because if it wasn't flat, how would it stay still? It would fall over, wouldn't it? So the child draws it like that. And we all have a tendency to do that. Even as we grow older, we all have a tendency to do that. So don't draw what you think you see in your head, what you know. Draw what you see there. So that's a slight ellipse, isn't it? So I would draw that like this. Okay? And then we go down the sides, they're just straight, like that. And the bottom, because it's further down, it's going to be even more of an ellipse than this. So it's more pronounced. So you're going to be having something like that. And it's very simple, it's basic stuff, but if you're not careful, that's what we end up doing when we're drawing. So draw what you actually see in front of you, not what you think you see. Okay, I once did this with a group of lads in a pub who didn't believe me. It was a lads' weekend away, and I got the barman to do, and they, all the blokes, grown men, went towards this model rather than that model. So it's very, very odd, and that's why we've got this ellipse here at the bottom, and yet the top is just a straight line. Yeah, see, ellipse, curve, sorry, straight line. That's because we are looking, that's the horizon, so that's our eye line. If I was down here, then that bit would be straight and the ellipse would be up here. Yeah, just thought I'd clear that up for you. I know that we all have problems with this stuff. Right, but now here we go, we're going for the little money shot. So let's move that out of the way. Have a little look at our source up there. And just pretty much, you can sort of go anywhere you want with this sort of lot, really. I quite like to do. So there we go. Now we're going in with much thicker white paint, yeah? And that's going to be, I'll turn it up, and we'll just have a little bing. Always do those noises when you do it as well. Bing! Something like that, all right? Or here you might sort of go zwoosh, like that. That sort of thing. I think you know what I'm saying. Now we're going, notice I'm working from the bottom to the top. The reason for that is, I've absolutely no idea. You could do it whichever way around you want. And there's a little squiggle there, it's nice, jink. You might want to do someone slightly in the middle, like so, still the white paint, but just get a little, that will dry a lot lighter. Just to get a little bit of variation there on the old goblet thing. Just carry on, it's this sort of thing happens all the time, folks, don't worry about that. Always like to see a little bit of the old malarkey. It's alright, we're back on now. Yep, we're back on now. That was a bit of a fuck, that was a bit, oh, hold on, where's it going now? Okay, right, we like that. A little bit of creative filmmaking there from the cameraman, I think. I think he sort of put that noise in there just that. And then we're about a little ring down there like that. Little one here just to balance it up. And now we're getting all sorts of nice sort of, let's get a little, ooh, I like to do that little flash there, did you see that? A little, I like to do that, I've got something special in store for you. That's a little one there. What about one there and a little chink there? Maybe one comes there. Now clean the brush, because it's all getting a bit hard on the end of my brush there. Bring that into focus so you can see. I'm basically digging out the white on a pretty, what's it called? Dry brush. So a very dry brush. Let's go in that one. So we've got 3 levels of light now. 4 in fact, the blue, then the not so blue, then the white, and the even whiter. So that's really swish, really quite pleasant and pleasing to the eye. Another little one here, clean the brush again, do that, clean the brush. And we're very close to finishing this now. You know, use your imagination. What about, do quite like to have a bit of a statement there like that, just something like that. I quite like that. Maybe just bounce up just something there like that. Want to have something in here, just going across there, definitely. Maybe another bit there, and then something at the top here, it's a little highlight there. Bing! Like that. It's a crystal glass, you see, so it goes bing! Like that. It's a fancy little number, isn't it? And basically, that's your finished job. And I think it's brilliant. You can then, why not, if you want to jazz it up a little bit, give it a sort of, I don't know, let's think here, a little, you could just give it a little dash of colour finally. Like there might be a bowl of oranges or something over yonder, which will be reflecting in the glass. So you might just want to do a little darting sort of flash of orange down there, something like that. Look at that. That is so swish, and maybe compound it with a little bit there, and then maybe just a like that, and there. Oh, look at that! Just like a little bit of colour that gives it. Wow. Then you finally even something like this, which is just a little exercise really. Sign it, frame it, flog it. See you next time, people. Pour yourself a nice glass of wine now. You deserve it.